What's up, everybody? It's KBR Sports, the best sports talk show, 24-hour day back from the break. Remember, you all can follow and subscribe to the KBR Sports podcast by going on Rabble TV, Spreaker, YouTube, iTunes, and SoundCloud. That way, you will all be notified by email whenever the KBR Sports podcast is streaming live and when the podcast is posted. Also, don't forget you can follow the KBR Sports Twitter page at KBR_sports, where the live links and show topics are tweeted prior to every single show. Don't forget you can also call in at 571-991-0566 in order to join in on any KBR Sports show conversation that may be getting discussed. Alright, so just to give the quick trivia question of the day out again. So, y'all, me and Deadpool share something in common. We both, well, I more so choose not to go to a certain food place. He's more so banned. Yeah. So, what food place is Deadpool banned from? That is the question of the day. If you know the answer, tweet it at KBR_sports, or you can comment on the podcast, or you can also call in at 571-991-0566 and give your answer to the question. If you get the question right, we'll give you a round of applause. A resounding round of applause. Okay, y'all, let's jump into this next topic where we're going to talk about a quarterback who could possibly not make it to a Super Bowl again, even though he is arguably a top 3 quarterback in the league right now, and that quarterback would just so happen to be Drew Brees. So Drew Brees has been a guy that's, for years on hand, has thrown for over 4,000 yards, over 25 touchdowns each season, has had his interceptions under 17 interceptions, 15 or so. Always having impressive passing yards, the passing touchdowns, and interception ratio seasons. But the problem is, despite Drew Brees' best efforts, the Saints have been held to either missing the playoffs or been relegated to poor records. This season, they're already starting off 0-2 despite Drew Brees' best efforts. In the game on Sunday against the Patriots, Drew Brees, those for 356 yards, 2 touchdowns, has a 100 passer rating, and he's forced to throw the ball 27. He completes 27 out of 45 passes. So when you look at it, I mean, it doesn't make you really, because think about it. Here are some statistics. The Saints, the last time they made it to the playoffs was in 2013. Prior to that, they've only made the playoffs 3 times since they won the Super Bowl in 2009. And it kind of comes to wonder if they hadn't, Bountygate had to have essentially been institutionalized during that playoff run, would they have made it to the Super Bowl? Because a lot of those hits in that NFC Championship game against Brett Favre were pretty cheap. Really cheap, man. And, you know, they were taking out they were getting their pound of flesh from Brett Favre in that NFC Championship game. So you kind of wonder, if it weren't for Bountygate, would they have even made it to that Super Bowl and proceeded to win it against Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts? Now, here's a good statistic to take into mind. Each year they made the playoffs, they either had a top 3 offense or they coupled a top 10 offense with a top 10 defense. Okay? Now, the only year that this didn't occur, at least in the Drew Brees era, was the year that they won the Super Bowl, in which their defense was ranked in the 20s in both points and yardage. So, when you look at it from that standpoint, Drew Brees has not had the luxury of playing with good defenses. I mean, you can just see the rankings. Last season, they were 31st in points. This season, they're 31st in points, 32nd in yards. The season before, 27th in yardage. The season before that, they were 32nd in points, 31st in yards. Season before that, they were 28th in points and 31st in yards. This Saints team, no matter how many points, Drew Brees has had this Saints team at number 10 or a top 10 offense each season. Literally each season. I kid you not. He's had the offense looking prolific almost every single season that he's played as the starting quarterback of the Saints offense. And yet, the payoff for him is that he's never had, a consistent running game behind him. I think the last time they really had a consistent running game was when Pierre Thomas was there. I mean, Mark Ingram is a good back, but now you have so many backs in the backfield with him, with Mark Ingram, Pierre Thomas, Mark Ingram, Adrian Peterson, and Alvin Kamara, that none of those guys can get into a flow, so you essentially neutralize your own running game. So the Saints are in a very peculiar position where you're not, and I kind of talked earlier about how the Atlanta Falcons have been able to find the ultimate the ultimate balance between offense and defense. The Atlanta Falcons had the prolific offense, but then they've been able to add pieces subtly but slowly to their defense to make their defense worthwhile and make their defense be a viable stopping ground, so that even though their offense can put up a lot of points, their defense can at least be some form of resistance. The Saints defense is like one ply tissue paper. Tom Brady threw 3 touchdowns in the first quarter. That's incredible. Tom Brady nearly had a perfect passer rating. He had a 139.6 passer rating and a 91.3 quarterback rating. He was honestly taking it to the Saints. Like it was no joke. So when you look at it from that standpoint, you just got to sit there and think, I mean, how much can you put on the shoulders of Drew Brees? I mean, one guy can only do so much. I mean, if you ask me, there's a lot of younger quarterbacks and a lot of guys on better teams. I mean, even in his division, there's 2 MVP. The last 2 MVPs have come out of Drew Brees' division. One being Cam Newton from 2 years ago, and Matt Ryan being the MVP from last year. None of those guys, well, Cam Newton has regressed some, but their teams don't look like they're going anywhere anytime soon. And Jameis Winston is on the come up of his Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They all look impressive, and Drew Brees' team is the only one that seems like it's not getting any better. Except all that's happening is Drew Brees is aging more. The defense continues to be abysmal. And the offense at this point is seeming to regress too. Right now they're 16th in points and 3rd in yards in the league. So you can only wonder, I mean, what can Drew Brees do to get back to another Super Bowl? Honestly, would entail possibly him having to leave to go to a contender like Peyton Manning had to do when he left the Colts to go to the Broncos. If Drew Brees went to a team like the Rams or some other team, I don't know if the Rams would be willing to have him, depending on what they want to do with Jared Goff. That was the first thing that popped up to mind. But if Drew Brees went to another team with a defense and it was a contender, like even the Vikings or something like that, oh my gosh, what Drew Brees could do. If he went to the Cardinals with a deteriorating Carson Palmer, man, that'd be really interesting to see. But yeah, I don't think Drew Brees is getting back to another Super Bowl, especially since I think he kind of planted his flag in New Orleans and plans to retire as a New Orleans Saint. So I think that's pretty much going to wrap it for what Drew Brees' potential future can be as a Super Bowl contender. All right, y'all. That's going to be it for this segment. When I come back from the break, I'm going to touch on the Triple G and Canelo fight to end out the show. Don't miss it. Remember, y'all, the live link will disappear, but wait about 50 to 60 seconds. Refresh the page, and the live link will be back up for you guys to tune into. It's KBR Sports.